Top Trump official Joe Kent, director of the United States National Counterterrorism Center, resigns, causing a firestorm of "I told you so's" from everyone who doubted Trump's motives for going into Iran. Let's tap into this really quick because I have some thoughts about this situation and Joe Kent specifically.
We begin this hour with breaking news. Top counterterrorism official Joe Kent announced he is resigning as a director of the National Counterterrorism Center. In a post on X, Kent cited the war in Iran as his reason for leaving his role. He wrote, quote, "I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby." You may remember Kent ran as a Republican candidate for a House seat in Washington in 2024. He ran in support of President Trump's Make America Great Again campaign. In his post, he addressed the president, writing, "Until June of 2025, you understood that the wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed America of the precious lives of our patriots and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation."
We just learned, get this, the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, Joe Kent, has just announced he's resigning. CNN national security reporter Zachary Cohn is joining us right now. Zachary, what more can you tell us about this dramatic development?
Yeah, Wolf, this appears to be a significant resignation at the senior-most levels of the Trump intelligence community. This is Joe Kent. He was the director of the National Counterterrorism Center. He appearing to post on X a resignation letter that he submitted citing misgivings over the Trump administration's decision to launch its war with Iran. Now, Kent in this letter writes in part, quote, "As a veteran who deployed to combat 11 times and as a Gold Star husband who lost my beloved wife Shannon in a war manufactured by Israel, I cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people, nor justifies the cost of American lives." Now, Kent, in his apparent post on X, does also seem to suggest that there was no imminent threat, that it has been used and cited by the Trump administration as justification for launching this war against Iran. He says that essentially, the administration manufactured this idea of an imminent threat, and that is part of the reason why he's deciding to resign from his post today.
Let me read a little bit from this letter that he wrote to President Trump. This is Joseph Kent. He works for the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. But he writes this. He says, "I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. I support the values and the foreign policies that you campaigned on in 2016, 2020, 2024, which you enacted in your first term. Until June of 2025, you understood that the wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed America of the precious lives of our patriots and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation." And he added this, "In your first administration, you understood better than any modern president how to decisively apply military power without getting us drawn into never-ending wars. You demonstrated this by killing Qasem Soleimani and by defeating ISIS." He goes on and says more, Sabrina, but those are powerful words.
I think what's also important here is this is an appointee that was not someone that you could consider not aligned with the president. I mean, this is someone that espoused the MAGA-based views and was appointed by, of course, Tulsi Gabbard. And so the fact that he has issued a very public resignation, and the fact that he's also said that Iran did not pose an imminent threat to the United States, a case that was made by Donald Trump multiple times and many other officials in this administration, including the Secretary of Defense.
Mr. President, your Director of National Counterterrorism, Joe Kent, he just resigned today. He said he can't support your conflict with Iran. What's your reaction to that? And did you talk
Well, I read his statement. I always thought he was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security, very weak on security. I didn't know him well, but I thought he seemed like a pretty nice guy. But when I read his statement, I realized that it's a good thing that he's out, because he said that Iran was not a threat. Iran was a threat. Every country realized what a threat Iran was. The question is whether or not they wanted to do something about it. And many people, many of the greatest military scholars are saying for years that presidents should have taken out Iran because they wanted a nuclear weapon. They were, if we didn't do the attack, or if, I'll go a step further, if I didn't terminate the Iran nuclear deal given to us, one of the worst deals ever made by Barack Hussein Obama. Remember when they sent Boeing 757s over there loaded with cash? Hundreds of millions of dollars. You would have been very happy. This was a wonderful, they sent hundreds of millions. People forget that. Does anybody remember? Right? You remember. Hundreds of millions of dollars in a Boeing 757. I think they had two of them loaded. They took the seats out and they put cash. And it was so much that there wasn't a bank in Virginia, Maryland, or D.C. that had any money left. They stripped them of all their money, put it into place, sent it to Iran, almost as ransom. That's not going to happen with Trump. And nobody ever did anything about it. Nobody ever said anything about it. Can you imagine if I did that? So they've been a threat for a long time. But they've really been a threat. If I didn't terminate Obama's horrible deal that he made, the Iran nuclear deal, you would have had a nuclear war 4 years ago. You would have had nuclear holocaust, and you would have had it again if we didn't bomb the site. So when somebody is working with us that says they didn't think Iran was a threat, we don't want those people, because, and there are some people, I guess, that would say that.
Okay, so this is a big one. 100% coming out of Trump's cabinet, coming out of Trump from a Trump appointee. One, Trump is kind of, he's on shaky ground here, because it's like you're acting like you just didn't even know this guy, but you appointed this guy. You literally let this person be a part of your cabinet and then say, oh, I don't know him that well. That calls into question his leadership. That calls into question whether or not he's really even running the show. And it definitely gives, some validity to the claims that Trump might be a little bit of a puppet. He might be being controlled by entities that maybe we don't even know about. Because if you're appointing people that you don't even know, that means someone's telling you, hey, appoint this person, appoint this person, appoint that person. So I'm there with you on that. I can concede that point 100%. What I can't figure out, and guys, the link is in the comments if you guys want to come up, because challenge me all day. Hey, if something shaky happens with Trump, I want you guys up here to hold my feet to the fire, because I'm about to say something too. If I call it like I see it on Trump, which I always call it like I see it, I got to call it like I see it on Joe Kent as well, because I started to make this a pre-recorded video, but I said no, because if Trump did something good, you would go live about it and you would be bragging and talking your shit. So this is something that's bad, in my opinion, when it comes to Trump. So I got to go live about it and give you guys an opportunity to come cook me a little bit on this situation. No problem. I have no issue with that. I'm not a person who throws the baby out with the bathwater. A lot of people like to do that, but life is not as simple as we would like it to be oftentimes. So I want to look at the letter from Joe Kent. I want to kind of read through the letter. It's not that long. And I have some serious questions that I would have to ask Joe Kent if I was sitting in front of him. Because much like President Trump, I have a major question with Joe as to, okay, Joe, what is a threat? At what point does someone become a threat? That is the question. First, we should be questioning, is Trump getting his strings pulled, right? And we should definitely be looking into that. The second question is, we should be questioning this Trump appointee, why Trump appointed him and Trump doesn't know him, and also why this guy, Joe Kent, is deciding to resign now. He didn't resign during Midnight Hammer, right? He didn't resign. He took the appointment, basically. So you took an appointment from somebody who you didn't know who was pulling their strings. That's a question. But my biggest question is, Joe, please define for me what exactly is or is not a threat? That would have to be my biggest question for Joe, because Joe says in his letter that Iran was no threat to the United States, right? And I'm okay with Joe saying that. I have no issue with Joe saying that. But I need to know now, what exactly do we define as a threat to the United States of America? So here goes Joe's letter. I hope you guys can see it. Big your screen up if you can. President Trump, after much reflection, I have decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center, effective today. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby, right? Let's stop right there. So Iran poses no imminent threat. What is an imminent threat? Is the imminent threat when the missiles are in the air with nuclear warheads attached to them flying towards America? Or is the imminent threat when Iran is holding some country hostage, saying, if you don't do what we want you to do, we're going to drop a nuke on you? Or is the imminent threat, does that start when Iran kidnaps Americans? Or does it start when Iran kills hundreds of American military personnel with bombings since the 80s? I'm really trying to understand this, because, okay, let's look at this from a common sense perspective. Joe Kent said Iran is no imminent threat. I'm going to type in very simply in AI, how many Americans has Iran kidnapped? Okay. So I could share this with you too. I want to be totally transparent here. Okay. So in 1979, Iran kidnapped 52 Americans. Okay. They were taken hostage. It was a whole big old thing. There's a movie called Argo about that. Then Iran funded Hamas, which kidnapped, this is, Joe Biden gave Iran $6 billion. So how many Americans did Hamas kidnap on October 7th? 12. So 12 U.S. citizens were kidnapped. Several were released during a November 2023 truce. Others were confirmed killed, and some remained in captivity as of late 2024 and early 2025. So on October 7, 2023, Hamas, which is directly funded and trained by Iran, that is their terrorist proxy, they kidnapped 12 Americans, held them hostage. That was just in 2023. And on October 7, 2023, they killed 46 Americans. I'm just asking you guys. You can be mad at me, and that's fine. But I have to ask this question. At what point does Iran become an imminent threat? They literally 2 years ago, they kidnapped 12 Americans and killed almost 50 Americans, right? Prior to that, Iran kidnapped 5 Americans, demanded a ransom, which Joe Biden paid them $6 billion to release 5 American hostages, right? They then turned around and used that money to fund Hamas, which carried out a terrorist attack on Israel. Now, we're gonna go through, the search engine. Iran. Okay, so we know that they took the 50 hostages, and then a terrorist group that Iran funds, they took 5 hostages, right? And then they wanted Joe Biden to pay them money to get the hostages back. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here we go. Right here. Okay. So in September of 2023, I want to just put this all together for y'all because men lie, women lie, facts don't lie. In September of 2023, in an agreement, the Biden administration facilitated the transfer of $6 billion in frozen Iranian oil revenue from South Korea to a restricted account in Qatar in exchange for the release of 5 American citizens and 5 Iranian citizens that were being detained in the U.S. So basically, the United States paid $6 billion in ransom or in releasing Iranian funds, which were frozen because the United States had frozen them. Trump had frozen them because Trump said that if they get access to this money, they're going to use the money to fund terrorist groups, right? And the craziest thing about this is no sooner had Iran got that money, right? No sooner than they got that money, the very next month, on October 7th, Hamas, the Iranian proxy, attacked Israel and killed 46 Americans and took 12 Americans hostage. So my question to Joe Kent is this. We know for a fact that Iran uses the money that they get to fund terrorist groups. Hezbollah, Hamas, Al-Qaeda, they're working with them now. Al-Shabaab in Kenya, all types of Muslim radical groups in Africa. We know Iran does this, the number 1 state sponsor of terrorism in the world, right? Joe Kent has to tell me, if I'm an American traveling abroad, you're telling me that there is absolutely no chance that Iran or an Iran-funded proxy, terrorist proxy, could kidnap me or kill me in an attack on American citizens, which is what they did as recently as 2023. And then Israel went in, started bombing Hamas and doing all that, but ultimately Joe Biden did nothing. So when I talk Boko Haram as well. So when I'm talking to Joe Kent, Mr. Clark Kent, Joe Kent, sir, when I'm talking to Joe Kent and he says Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, bro, Iran already has blood on its hands. As little as 2.5 years ago, when they killed almost 50 Americans and then took 12 Americans hostage by way of Hamas. Then Iran they had 5 Americans being held captive in Iran and demanded a $6 billion ransom to get those Americans back. I don't understand what bro means by imminent threat. And I understand that bro's wife died in a terrorist attack by ISIS back in 2019. But I would like to think that if a country is screaming death to America, they're funding terrorist groups that are kidnapping and killing Americans, they are kidnapping Americans themselves. I'm sorry, guys, but in my mind, that strikes me as an imminent threat. In my mind, if any American has to worry about some type of wrong being done to them by any country, I'm going to need Americans to think, yo, that's an imminent threat. And Iran has been killing Americans since the 70s. They've been killing Americans since the 70s and funding terrorist groups that kill America, making and giving terrorist groups roadside bombs that were blowing up American troops. So as far as I'm concerned with Joe Kent, it's kind of like, okay, bro, when you were appointed to be the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, if there was no imminent threat, why did we need you to be the director of the National Counterterrorism Center? Also, if this was such a big deal, why didn't you warn Trump ahead of time? Hey, Mr. President, I think Israel is trying to manipulate you into going to war in Iran. During Operation Midnight Hammer last year, why didn't Joe Kent go out and cause a fuss publicly and say, no, Trump is being controlled by Israel. I know about terrorism. I'm a terrorism expert. We don't need to be in Iran at all. Why didn't he do it then? Why did he wait till today, right now? And even still, why didn't Joe Kent say something before we actually went into Operation Epic Fury and take out all of the Iranian leadership? My question for Joe Kent is, why now, Joe? Why now? And just like there's an Israel lobby, there's an Iran lobby, there's an Islam lobby. George Soros is actively working to flip political appointees and politicians to his side of the aisle, which is to just undermine American democracy at all costs. And I'm kind of wondering, did they get to you, Joe? Because, Joe, you were real quiet about all the other stuff. And you're saying something that doesn't sit right with me. Joe, you're saying that a country that has been kidnapping and killing American citizens for 3 decades is not an imminent threat. We have been in basically a Cold War with Iran this whole time. We were in a Cold War with Russia for years, for decades. Just because they weren't firing nukes at us, did that mean we weren't in a Cold War? Did that mean things weren't going on behind the scenes where both countries were trying to exert dominance over each other? I'm just saying, this is a real question, and I would love for you guys to answer it for me. How many Americans does Iran have to kill or kidnap or sponsor the killing or kidnapping of for Iran to be a imminent threat? I'm really asking this question because I am a man. I have a family. If someone kidnaps one of my kids and they roaming free, I'm going to say that person is a threat to kidnap another one of my kids. If Iran was a person, we'd be screaming for this person to be locked in jail for the rest of their life. But because they're a nation, we just going to keep letting them take cheap shots at us, killing our people, kidnapping our people, making our people unsafe in that region of the world just because? I'm sorry, Joe. I'm not with Joe on this because I know there are Americans who have died due to Iran. Iran has killed Americans all the way back from 1979. This is my whole thing. Not a single person can deny that Iran has killed Americans. If we go to Google, our friend, how many American deaths is Iran directly responsible for? I love Google. I love AI because this is where we can learn what's really going on and kill all the noise, that surrounds it. Let's be real. Right here. Bam. Let's go. Based on reports from the U.S. Department of Defense and various analysis of Iran's proxy network, Iran has been directly or indirectly responsible for the deaths of hundreds of American citizens and service members over several decades. Iraq War, 2003 to 2011, 603 U.S. service members. Beirut bombing attack, 1983, 241 Americans. Khobar Tower bombing, 19 U.S. airmen. Recent attacks, 2003 to 2004. Iran-backed militias have continued to target Americans with drone strikes by groups like Kataib Hezbollah, killing 3 U.S. service members in Jordan on January 2024, and other attacks killing at least 1 contractor in Syria. October 7th attacks. Iran-backed militia Hamas killed 46 Americans. In total, these documented incidents indicate Iran has been responsible for well over 900 American deaths through direct action, proxy groups, and the provision of advanced weapons technology over the 40 years. If this group has killed 900 Americans, and just under the last president, we're in 2026 now. But under the last president, Joe Biden, in 2023, they killed 46 damn Americans. At what point? Yes, and no, and this is the thing. I don't know why people have to get angry about this. There's people have been killed, right? But you can't. So here it goes. America has killed millions of civilians. What millions of civilians has America killed? Did they kill millions of Iranian civilians? Because Iran has killed over 900 American civilians, over 900 Americans. But what I can concede is this: if you say we are an imminent threat to Iran, I can accept that. But what I won't accept is Iran is not an imminent threat to us. If anything, at the minimum, we are an imminent threat to each other because they kill every American they can, and we're trying to kill every Iranian we can. I'm just using Google to show you guys. I already know all this information. I've made shows about this just in the past couple weeks. But what I can concede is if you say we are an imminent threat to each other, I can accept that. I'm not obtuse to the point where I don't understand that America represents a threat to Iran. I get that. But what I'm not buying from Joe is that Iran is of no imminent threat and Israel is da-da-da-da. Well, dude, they're killing Americans, whether Israel says let's go or not. Iran's not like, yo, we're going to kill the Israelis, but we're not going to touch the Americans. They're not doing that. They see Americans that they could kill, they kill them. Period. Iran is bombing UAE, knowing it's American civilians over there. So I'm just asking the question of Joe. Joe, tell me, at what point did Iran stop being an imminent threat? I'm going to get back in Joe's letter real quick. Here he is. I support the values and the foreign policies that you campaigned on in 2016, 2020, and 2024, which you enacted in your first term until June of 2025. You understood that the wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed Americans of the precious lives of our patriots and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation. Okay, so he said that the foreign policies he implemented in 2016, which was freezing Iranian funds, 2020, right? And then 2024. Well, here's where a lot of people have a blind spot, right? Donald Trump froze Iranian assets so they could not fund terrorist groups around the world. Joe Biden got elected, unfroze billions and billions of dollars of Iranian funds, gave it back to Iran, and what did Iran do? It started funding terrorism all around the world. So I can understand how he's like, yo, I support your policies that you implemented in 2016. But what he doesn't understand is there was a gap between Trump's presidencies, between his terms, where some Democrat idiot was literally giving money to a country that is known to fund terrorist groups. And if you're a person who sides with the Democrats, you don't really have a win in this situation because over 90% of all the Democrats in Congress voted with Republicans that Iran is the number one sponsor of terrorism in the world. Democrats and Republicans voted together at almost 90% that this is true. So if you're a Democrat, your party acknowledges that Iran is the number one sponsor of terrorism in the world. So your party is saying, yes, they sponsor terrorism. They're the number one sponsor. They're a danger to America. Then Joe Kent comes like, they weren't an imminent threat to America. And you're like, yeah, see, they weren't an imminent threat. Well, the people you vote for don't seem to think that. And I honestly believe that whether Democrat or Republican got elected, we were going to end up going into Iran. I never thought for a minute that the United States government was going to let Iran get away with what they did to the United States citizens on October 7th, 2023. If you tell me we needed to, if Trump would have came and said we had to do it just because we had to show him that you don't fuck with Americans, I would have been okay with that. Because I'm someone who travels. I don't want any country thinking we're going to be able to just go at Americans and nothing's going to happen. That's what people like Joe Biden taught the world. That's what people like Barack Obama taught the world. And I think it's very important that Trump sent a message like, no, we're going to fuck shit up if you touch Americans. We have the ability to, and we're going to do it. And I believe Trump, one of the major things about Operation Midnight Hammer and Operation Epic Fury is Trump is kind of putting the world on notice. We got all this firepower. You don't want to mess with us. If you tell me, I mean, think about this. Think about the irony of this, the poetic justice of this. They killed 46 Americans. We slaughtered 49 of their top leaders in the country. I mean, look at God, man. Do you think that's a coincidence, or is that the universe like aligning shit back up? They took civilian. You know, in America, we live based on this idea that no one is above anybody else. Everyone is equal under the eyes of God. Everyone is equal as an American. We're no big shots, no little shots. We're all just shots, right? Even the president. The president walks up to you, reaches his hand out. You can flip him off and walk away, and they can do nothing to you, right? So Iran feels like they're killing Americans who are unimportant. They're not important. But when you take out 46 Americans and we take out 49 or 50 of your it's 50 now, of your highest ranking officials, there's something poetic about that. There's something poetic about that. But, you know, guys, if you have a disagreement with me, the link is in the comments. You can come up here and talk all the crap you want. I don't care. It's not hurting me, because at the end of the day, Joe can't be damned. Trump done already went over there and raised hell. And that's what I'm saying with Joe. And I see people like, Joe is right. No, Joe is a bastard. And the reason why Joe is a bastard because if Joe was going to do this, Joe should have did this before all the lives were lost in Iran. Joe should have said something before we went over there putting belt to ass, wiping people out. Joe should have said this before the little girls' school was hit. That was America's fault. We got to take the accountability for that, as far as the investigation is saying. But I'm not praising no son of a bitch who knew something was wrong or felt like something was wrong and didn't say something until the damage was done. Just to reset the room, if you haven't been with us, Joe is the director of the United States National Counterterrorism Center. He resigned today, one of Trump's top appointees. And he wrote a resignation letter that said basically Trump is being controlled by Israel, or that Trump was dragged into the war in Iran by Israel. And I'm taking Joe, I'm admitting, hey, Trump is letting himself be controlled or being controlled. I guess according to what Joe is saying and according to if what he said is true, Trump is being controlled by Israel lobby, or at least he's allowing Israel lobby to drag him into situations that he doesn't really understand. Possibly, that's very much possible. I'm willing to concede that to you. But what I'm saying at the same time is Joe said Iran is no imminent threat to Americans, and I'm giving factual evidence of Iran as recently as 2 years ago killing and kidnapping Americans, killing 46 Americans, kidnapping 12 Americans, kidnapping 5 Americans, all this in 2023. So I'm asking this question my question is this: at what point does Iran become an imminent threat? How many Americans do they have to kill before we say, oh, they're a threat? I don't agree with Joe on that. The facts don't agree with Joe on that. He can be the director of what he wants. So Joe has to be telling me that all that stuff about Americans getting killed is a lie. And Joe's not saying that. Unless Joe can convince me that all this information about Americans being killed, all this information about Iran getting $6 billion, immediately funding Hamas to go and do the attack in Israel, which killed 46 Americans, and then taking 12 Americans hostage. Unless Joe tells me that none of that is true, all that is a deep fake, all that stuff is just a psyop, all that stuff is a false flag. Unless Joe comes out and tells me that, I'm sorry, Joe, but you kill Americans, I'm an American, you're an imminent threat to me in my mind. I'm being real with you. I'm being real with you. And that part of me makes me think, okay, you know, as an American, do I want retribution for the deaths of Americans? If Israel is pulling Trump strings, in my opinion, they didn't have to pull them very hard, Because I know Trump has a heart for Americans, and I know when those Americans were killed and Iran was never held accountable, I know that didn't sit right with Trump. I honestly think Trump was kind of looking for a reason to do it. He wanted to do it. Biden should have done it, but he was too much of a coward to do it. A lot of this stuff with Israel, I'm like, bro, we got just as much reason to go whoop on Iran as Israel does. We have just as much reason. If Iran was only killing Israelis and they were just messing with them, I would say, yo, that's not our business. But they love kidnapping Americans. There was proof, R12490. The families of the people who died were on the news every damn day begging Hamas to give the people back. Then remember when Hamas got tired of getting bombed and obliterated by Israel, they started negotiating with America, asking them to stop Israel from bombing them, and in exchange they would give back some of the hostages. What do you mean there was no proof? It was all over the news for like 2 years. They took the people in 2003. The people didn't get freed until like early 2025. That was like a year ago. So I don't understand when you're like, it hasn't been proven. It has been proven. The question we should all walk away from here asking today is this. Is Trump being controlled by the Israel lobby? My opinion is there could be some manipulation there, but I also think Trump has a personal axe to grind with Iran as well, because he was very adamant about Iran never getting access to that money because he knew they would fund terrorism. Hillary Clinton also said that if she was elected, the first thing she would do was bomb Iran. So it's clear that the Democrats and Republicans had a consensus that they wanted to bomb Iran just because all types of stuff that Iran had done, back in the day. I think the Khobar Tower, when was the Khobar Tower, guys? 1996. And then I know the backlash from the Iraq War, where we were all in Iraq and we were and then we were in Afghanistan. I know a lot of American politicians wanted to get Iran for that because Iran was providing the roadside bombs that were blowing Americans' legs and arms and stuff off, and they were giving those bombs to terrorist groups, right? So that's the question I'm asking. Is there manipulation of Trump on Israel's behalf? I believe there is. But do I also believe that Trump has a personal axe to grind with Iran, so it doesn't take a lot of pressuring from Israel for him to go in and whoop ass and whoop feet? Yes, I also believe that too. Trump has a personal vendetta against Iran, right? But the other question you should be asking is, why now, Joe? Why after all the death, Joe? Why didn't you say all this before Operation Midnight Hammer, Joe? Why do we have to wait for the little girls' school to get hit? Why do we have to wait for 10 American servicemen and women to die? Why do we have to wait for Trump to knock out 50 damn ranking members of the Iranian leadership? That's my question. And I'm already telling you. And you guys keep asking, why another war? Do the deaths of Americans mean nothing to you guys? Whatever, Joe Altiego, I'll ask you a question. Why another war? So these people have killed 46, they killed more than that because some of the 12 hostages died too. They've killed over 50 Americans in the last 2 years, and you're like, why another war? You don't care about the lives of Americans, so it doesn't make sense to you. But if they killed your mom or your cousin or your daughter or your brother, you would want somebody to do something about it. That's the hypocrisy in that is, I feel, being displayed by people who are like, why another war? Why another war? You just don't care because there's nobody related to you. But I promise you, if your ass is in the Middle East for whatever reason and Iran kidnapped you, you're going to want America to come put belt to ass to save you. Who is this? Bongo Dread. How is Trump winning the war if he can't even control the path that the ships is passing through? Trump is controlling everything over there, because I don't know if you know this, but Iran ain't sending nothing out of there either. See, Iran can keep ships from going through the Strait of Hormuz, but Iran doesn't. This is what I'm saying. If you can't bring anything through it, you ain't controlling it. You can, hey, maybe I am. I don't know, being a man and having the ability to critically think, if that makes me full of poop, then so be it. I couldn't care less. But the point I'm making is, you guys are like, he can't control the Strait of Hormuz. Dude, Iran can't even control the Strait of Hormuz. I want to see Iran drive a ship through the Strait of Hormuz. They can't. Don't you think if they could, they'd be pushing oil out of the country so they could bring some money in? They can't. I mean, I know you guys are like Iran sympathizers. That's cool. I'm not even saying America's innocent. I'm just saying big bank tank little bank, bro. Iran's president is dead. Last I checked, Bibi Netanyahu and Trump are alive. 50 members of Iran's top leadership are dead, and they've admitted that. They're doing mourning, public mourning events. I don't know how you're winning and all your kings and queens are dead. That's like playing chess and someone takes your king and queen in the first two moves, and you're like, yeah, we got them right where we want them. At that point, I have to ask myself, are you delusional? How is Trump winning? Iran's Navy is gone. Iran's Air Force, gone. America is in control. America and Israel are in control of Iran's airspace. They're gone. All Iran can do is shoot up missiles with the help of Russia and China, I think, allegedly. And that's all they got. That's winning? If that's winning, what does losing look like? I'm just saying. But yeah, so when people are like, Iran's really winning, I just question their sanity. I question their sanity. United States ships are over there. United States amphibious assault vehicles are over there. Go watch my other live from earlier. I literally showed you guys photos from my source that is on an amphibious assault vessel right now in the Persian Gulf, sending me pictures showing that, you know, certain landing vessels are being deployed. I know, I question your sanity. Look, guys, the link is in the comments. Come tell me exactly how Iran is winning. At the least, at the most, you could say Iran is like holding ground in certain areas, but there's no way they're winning. You know that, and I know that. It's okay if you're rooting for Iran. People root for losing teams all the time. But I don't know how one group says, I don't know how you could be down like 50-0, well, 50-10, because we lost 10 people too, and you're like, yeah, we're winning. Dude, they have no leadership. They've admitted that. They said soldiers shot off missiles indiscriminately because their leaders were dead. America's not asking for a ceasefire. America's not asking for a ceasefire. You don't know what you're talking about. The group who's asking for a ceasefire is Iran. They're running to the UN, asking the UN to demand that America does a ceasefire. You don't even know what you're talking about. That you listen, man. You only discredit yourself when you lie. I'm telling you. The new leader, it's a possibility he's dead. They just killed another ranking official today. Iran, it's like, listen, to say, I'm not going to believe American propaganda, but then be dumb enough to just fall for Iranian propaganda, that's not a sign of intelligence. That's a sign of gullibility. Please tell me, if Iran is winning, where are their leaders at? Where are their leaders? Where are their soldiers? Where's the footage? If Iran's winning, there would be footage. You would see footage of Iran blowing up American vessels. You don't see none of that. And America don't got control over the internet now. Here we go. Iran is winning because the conditions for both countries are different. As long as there are no American boots on Iran and no legitimate regime change happens, Iran is considered to be always winning. Do you realize how dumb that sounds? America's not trying to change the regime of Iran. They literally say the regime can stay, but you guys are going to have to pick a leader that we approve of. The leader could come right from the IRGC. Trump said that. But it won't be the son of the Ayatollah. So what are you talking about? Trump didn't do regime change in Venezuela. It was the vice president of Maduro who is the current president. So what are you guys talking about? You guys are mad at Trump. I don't know why. You don't even know him. You're mad at Trump. That's fine. So you root for whoever's against Trump. That's it. Trump could be fighting Hitler right now. Y'all would be like, man, Hitler winning. And Hitler, this is just the way it is. I'm here trying to appeal to your sense of reason and your critical thinking ability, which says you don't win when another country defeats your country. You don't win. You don't win when another country launches missiles at your country where your kids lay their head at. So whether you like Trump or not, the best thing to do is object. I don't like what you're doing, but I support my country at the end of the day. I support my country over other countries because my children lay their heads here. That's my opinion on it. You guys think whatever you want. But me personally, I understand that Iran has killed hundreds, thousands of American citizens, and I don't like that. You don't come kill our citizens. You don't come kill our citizens and then expect to just get a pass. That's just my position on it. But you guys can have whatever position you like. That's cool, man. I don't really care. I know what I think. I know what I think, and I'm sticking to it. This is just the way it is. There's something else I was trying to do right here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I want to put a poll, pause, in the damn, what is this? Oh, yeah. I want to put a poll in the comments, and I just want to get a consensus. Okay. Do you support Trump's assault? Okay, I'll put Trump's actions against Iran. Okay. Here's the answer. Yes, Trump 2028. But it's like you know, with me, I'm a person who's big on like hypocrisy. I don't like being a hypocrite. I would rather just be honest and tell you my true feelings than being a hypocrite. A lot of people don't know how to do that. A lot of people will operate hypocritically before, you know, rather than just be honest. Me personally, I'm gonna just straight up tell you, hey, it is what it is. That's where I'm at with it. In my opinion, eye for an eye. You kill Americans, we kill Iranians. And Iran continues death to America and all this nonsense. And they're not just saying death to America. They're saying death to America and then killing Americans. That's my issue with Iran. There's a poll in the comments. Y'all let me know. Do you support Trump? Oh, damn. Okay, so right now, 67% are saying yes, they support Trump. 33% are saying I don't care. And then there's 0 people saying that that Trump is a criminal. No, Trump is a criminal. So where are all the doubters? Because I see 67% of people saying they support Trump. Now, here's another poll that I'm going to ask you. Do you guys want to right now talk about Jasmine Crockett finally speaking out concerning her crazy, deranged LGBTQ bodyguard who was recently killed by police in Texas after a standoff and pulling a gun on law enforcement. Do you guys want to discuss that right now? Because you guys rocking with me. I would love to give you guys that little bonus just for showing love. Do you guys want to cover that right now? Probably take us about less than 20 minutes. Jasmine is a sellout 1,000%. But do you guys want to cover that? Because she's thinking. She's thinking. Come on. Let me see. I got two no's and two. I got 2 no's and 2 yeses. Come on, guys. Do you guys want to cover that? It's no problem for me to do so. Oh, no, Trump is a criminal just jumped up to 57%. Now, no, Trump is a criminal is at 57%. What's that? 50% now. Now it's tied. I don't care. And yes, Trump 2028 are tied. Combined, they're tied with no, Trump is a criminal. But we only have 8 votes, so get those votes in there. All right, we got the consensus seems to say that you guys want to cover that, so I'm gonna hook it up. No problem, man. No problem. I got y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're gonna be doing some daily live streams from here on out at 12 o'clock in the daytime. Let's just rock together and grow the channel. Plus, I'm gonna post some pre-recorded videos too, and you could just enjoy all that. I don't just want you to come. I don't want you to just come visit. I want you to stay. So I'm gonna give you what you want. Okay. So Jasmine Crockett finally breaks her silence with insane excuses. So Jasmine's making excuses about her crazy gay bodyguard who had a standoff with the police and then took it further by then pulling a gun on law enforcement and getting himself killed. This is psychotic. I'm not going to lie to you. This is psychotic. Let's tap in.
Outspoken Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett just lost the primary for the U.S. Senate, but she's back in the headlines because her bodyguard was just killed by a Dallas SWAT team. Turns out he was a wanted fugitive.
She's one of the most famous Democrats in Congress, a bare-knuckle political street fighter.
You are the least qualified FBI director in the history of the FBI.
Now Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is at the center of a firestorm over how she came to hire a fugitive from...
Wait a minute. Even I didn't know that. I knew bro had a bunch of felonies, but I didn't know bro was a fugitive from justice. Bro probably, if bro wasn't fruity, bro was hitting the back of that thing. She said, baby, I'm going to give you, you know Jasmine Crockett ain't got no boyfriend or nothing. That was him right there.
Justice as her personal bodyguard. The bodyguard was 39-year-old Mike King. He was shot dead by a SWAT team in the parking lot of a Dallas Children's Hospital.
Damn.
Cops say the congresswoman's bodyguard fled into the parking lot during a police chase and barricaded himself inside his car. When he was forced out of his vehicle by tear gas, cops say he pointed a weapon at officers and was shot.
The Dallas SWAT doctor rendered aid. He was pronounced dead at the scene.
King's real name turns out to be Diamond Mazaire Robinson.
Damn.
Authorities say he was wanted on federal charges of impersonating a police officer and had a criminal record for theft and fraud. King,
this is how I
Bro had like 4 felonies. Bro had like 4 felonies. But isn't it par for the course? Classy, well, she acts like a hood rat, but we know she's really an educated person. Educated black female reaches Congress, but she's dragging along Pookie. She's dragging Pookie along with her. Isn't this par for the course? I promise you that's crazy to me. As far as high up as black women get, they always trying to drag Pookie along with them, man. Shout out to Comma Classical, my brother.
So real investigative journalism is just dead in the water, right? Because what you mean? Felicia Crackhead Crockett hired a security guard who has had a criminal record that goes all the way back to 2009, was impersonating a police officer, and had a shootout with the Dallas police that resulted in his untimely death, right? And it just took some common sense reading based off of the information I was already provided that like, with his criminal record, with everything that was going on, oh, he was definitely doing more than, you know, being a security detail. He was definitely smashing that, right?
Hey, women know, bro. Women know. And I know because I got 5 sisters. Bro was hitting that. That was her little boo thing. He wasn't just some random that Jasmine decided, oh, I'm going to hire you, come work for me. That dude was hitting it. She looks like a damn troll, and bro looked like the type of dude who will hit a troll to make advancements up the employment ladder. The guy had 4 felonies. I mean, bro, I don't know. I don't really know how else to put that. But bro had 4 felonies. It don't get more pookied out than that. I'm going to be real with you. It don't get more pookified than that. 4 felonies. And she probably knows somebody. You know, she's a congresswoman. She probably knew somebody like, hey, we can give you a new identity, or at least we can get you a job. Let's just do a name change. Bro was a thug. I'm being real with you. Bro was a gangster. Bro wasn't playing. Because that man risked it all. Listen to me. Bro risked it all. Could have went to jail. I'm sure Jasmine would have put some money on bro books, right? I'm sure Jasmine would have been happy to put some money on her man's books. But he risked it all, like, to have a shootout with the cops. And bro, you just was the head security for a U.S. congresswoman. Do you understand how many doors that opens for you? But bro was like, damn that. Shorty want to be a thug, I guess. Let's check out this dash cam footage.
Car, stop!
Dallas police released portions of dash cam footage and several angles of officers' body-worn cameras leading up to the shooting of 39-year-old Diamond Robinson.
Looks like he's going through Maine. He's going through a red light. Do we have any coverts with him?
In the video, officers are seen following Robinson through downtown Dallas for a car they said was flagged for stolen plates. The footage then cuts to the Children's Medical Center garage, where Robinson is seen sitting inside a vehicle as officers yell commands to get out with his hands up.
During that time, officers offered him opportunities to speak with family members to resolve the situation peacefully, which is a common practice during negotiations.
Get out! Keep your hands up!
Yeah, so please, Jasmine, don't try to say, oh, this is racism and all that. The cops were black. They offered to let bro talk to his family members, and he clearly was like a thug. He was a gangster. This dude is a gangster. He was cornered, and me, I would have been like, all right, just take me. My sugar mama Jasmine gonna take care of me. Bro was like, fuck that.
Stand up!
While exiting the car, Robinson is seen reaching for his waist, then pointing a firearm before the video freezes and shots are heard.
Reach! Hey, don't do it! Don't do it!
Whoa!
Wow. Darn award.
Hey, bro's a thug. Straight up. Straight up. Bro, the most gangster dude I know. Bro, maybe he wanted to kill himself. Maybe this was death by cop. I don't know about y'all, but did this look like death by cop to y'all? Did this look like death by cop to y'all? Because bro literally, like, bro just was like, F it. They were like, don't do it. They're telling you want to talk to your mama? He like, nah. I want to risk it all. I want to be a rap singer. That's crazy, man.
To determine who his real identity was.
Detectives learned.
Imagine if you a U.S. senator or a congressman, and you know these people bring their kids around and stuff. These people know each other's kids. You think you safe, but the whole time you don't realize that one of the bodyguards for one of your peers or one of your workmates is a damn psychopath with a death wish. See what I'm saying? Everywhere they go, they always embarrassing us.
Had been using fictitious information and wearing police-style uniforms to represent himself as a federal agent. They also say he'd been using the alias Mike King and created fake businesses to hire actual sworn police officers for off-duty jobs.
He actually looks like a crazy person. I could look in that dude's eyes and tell he's a fraud.
Through a resource called Roll Call.
There's also his IDs that he had. The ID cards were also found inside the vehicle as well, along with some badges.
Wait, we got delusion in the chat. Jasmine Crockett is a fighter for the people. A fighter for the people, hiring felons and lying about who they are and attempting to pull a gun on law enforcement. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's how we know that the hate is not, it's not based on nothing real. This girl is out of her mind.
Executed a search warrant on Mr. Robinson's apartment that afternoon and recovered additional badges and additional firearms.
Sources told NBC5 Robinson worked as a security guard for Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. That was later confirmed by Crockett herself in a lengthy statement that reads in part, Mike had been in and around our team for years. There was never any reason to suspect that he wasn't who he held himself out to be. What we are learning about his past doesn't fit the person we came to know as Mike King. According to finance documents with the Federal Elections Commission, there was a small payment of $340 to security services to a Mike King last year.
So that's not adding up to me, right?
Yeah, that's bullcrap. It says that he was the head of her security, and he only made $340. She was paying that dude under the table. I don't need Greg to tell me that. She was paying this fool under the table. She knew that this guy was a criminal. And I bet you as they continue to dig, they're going to uncover that this girl knew this dude, that she knew him personally. Because how the hell is he your head of security, but you didn't only pay him $340? Steve, she refused to go to black schools. Why? Went to a privileged white majority secondary school in St. Louis, Missouri with an indoor swimming pool, cost $226,000 a term. Google her background. I don't mess with my family, but my family ain't deranged lunatics. I mess with some of them, but just the crazy ones I stay away from. She knew. How is it that he was your head of security, but you only paid him $340? It's a lie.
It is talkative, as you usually.
Let's read this. By now, Dallas police have been able to confirm the death of a member of our security team. So you acknowledge that he's a member of your security team. We waited for confirmation from local law enforcement and continue to learn the details of how this happened. We are saddened and shocked by some of the concerning revelations. Our team followed all protocols outlined by the House to contract additional security. We were approved to use this vendor who also provided security services for additional entities in the local community, but he didn't provide them for other Congress people, members of Congress, and work closely with law enforcement agencies, including Capitol Police. The fact that an individual was able to somehow circumvent the vetting processes for something as sensitive as security for members of Congress highlight the loopholes and shortcomings in many of our systems. This is incredibly alarming, especially for those members who receive high volumes of credible and sophisticated death threats. This situation reiterates the need for Capitol Police to provide security for members of Congress, especially under this administration's new normal. So any way she can, let's try to blame this on Trump, especially under this administration's new normal, inciting attacks on those who dare to speak out. We are fortunate that this is someone who used those loopholes without malice. Furthermore, after an initial review of the limited criminal history of Diamond Mazer Robinson in Dallas County, we've been unable to locate any violent offenses. Bro had 4 felonies. And she's saying the limited criminal history. She knows this dude. She's still trying to save this dude. If you don't know him, he's just a security guard. Oh, well, dude was crazy as hell. My bad. We did what we had to do. No, she's literally trying to save face for this guy. Jasmine, you're fired. The Democrats don't want you, but you still trying to cap for him. Oh, this current administration. She still wants to attack Trump. She must be auditioning for her job on CNN or her job on The View, because she's still trying to attack Trump, even though the Democrat Party didn't throw her away like a used napkin. With that being said, we are praying for the friends and family of the man that we knew as Mike King. Mike has been in and around our team for years. There was never any reason to suspect that he wasn't who he held himself out to be. He never endangered our team, worked diligently, coordinated with local law enforcement, and maintained positive relationships throughout the community. Mike always conducted himself respectfully and with care for those around. See, and this is one of the major problems with the black community. It doesn't matter what you do. If someone likes you in the black community, you could get away with damn murder. We defend the creepy uncle the same way. We defend criminals, thugs, drug dealers, people who shoot up the neighborhood the same damn way. She can't just call this dude what he is, a damn criminal and a fraud who clearly was mentally unstable. No, that's not the Mike we knew. What the hell does that mean? She's free. She is a part of the problem. You want a physical personification of a physical manifestation of the problem with the black community? Jasmine Crockett is it. Jasmine Crockett is freaking it, dude. She's going to make excuses for this criminal while trying to hold Trump accountable on charges that were trumped up. No pun intended. It's been, as a brother or former brother to you, laugh out loud, is there anything Trump will do that you won't support? If you came earlier, you would have saw me criticize Trump. But former brother, whatever, if you would let something like Trump get in the way of our relationship, you were never a brother in the first place. It's been. That's real. I am a grown man. I lived on this planet for 40 years. It ain't gonna make me or break me, dude. Your real friends won't abandon you. The fakes will. So, and guess what? When you leave me, what do? You go where I don't like what he says, so I'm gonna go be lied to. That's the beauty about this channel. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not going to hide who I am to get your money. I could be up here. Look, I could be like this. Man, Trump is a monster. And yeah, while they're out here trying to get Jasmine Crockett, what about Trump and his 34 felonies? How do we know that the people that Trump ain't working with ain't criminals? Shit, Trump been to court multiple times, been sued, but they're going to try to come after the black man. Yeah, he pulled out the gun, but they probably was telling him, sometimes they could cut the volume off on the body cams, and they probably was telling him to pull the gun out and throw it on the ground. I don't even see a gun for real. I could be up here just lying and capping. And y'all be eating that shit up. Jasmine Crockett is a fighter. Man, they just had to come after the black woman. This is all a psyop. This is all a false flag. They doing this to try to make it look like black men is violent and corrupt, and we just trying to get in Congress to hurt people. Maybe if Trump had bodyguards like Jasmine, maybe he wouldn't have got shot in his ear. I can get up here and talk that stupidity, but it's not rooted in anything solid. So if you run away from this channel because you can't handle the truth and the facts, that's on you, my brother. That is on you. And when the numbers look good, you came right back. So you wasn't here because of any real bond. You was here because, this is where everybody at. And that's cool. That's okay. But the thing about me, I'm going to be here win, lose, or draw, whether it's one person watching or 100,000. Because I got something to say. Anyway, shout out to my brother, Classical. That's a brother right there. For the $20 holler. Guys, Classical put us at $20. We literally need one more super chat to get our goal. Classical hit us with the 20 spot. We literally need one more $5 super chat to hit our goal. What will happen if we complete the goal? I don't know. I just said, can I double dip? I didn't put anything, but thank you for contributing. And I'll be back tomorrow at 12. I'm having a war right now with gnats in my house. It's absolutely diabolical. You guys want to review? I got some crazy stuff that I could review low key, but I don't know. Did you guys hear the story about the crazy ass kids who got the rodeo shut down? There was a bunch of black kids acting crazy as hell, and they got an all black rodeo shut down, which is crazy to me. And now the authorities are like low key trying to like go after their parents. Did you guys hear about that? That'll be the bonus since you helped me out, brother. Let's talk about these black man. Our community, I'm going to be real with you, and I'm not trying to come down on our community like that, but we got to do better. We got to do better. Our children are out of control. And I'm not going to lie, I think we need to give parents immunity for whooping some of these kids' ass. Because these kids are like out of control, man. And clearly whatever the government or the system is saying, it ain't working. But I'll tell you what did work, putting belt to ass. But they took away our ability to discipline our own children how we see fit. And now our children are out of control and we getting blamed for it. They're trying to arrest parents. You've literally stripped parents. You've literally stripped parents of their ability to discipline their kid, right? Their kids, right? And now that the kids are acting a fool, now you want to try to put parents in jail and stuff. Where are the parents at home powerless to stop their children from running out the house? I mean, let's be real. Parents are powerless to stop their children at this point. They're powerless. Because if you touch your kid, you know, the cops are going to be like, they're going to be called on you. They're going to be called on you. And what does the Bible say? Spare the rod, spoil the child. But people just don't even seem to give a damn about that. They just seem like they don't care. They don't care. It's literally just like, oh, well, we don't want you touching them. And part of me believes that they want the kids acting wild. Part of me believes that they want the kids out here acting a fool. Let me see. Did they give us some footage at least? What is this? Why they won't show us the fighting? All right, man. We got to go to this other video. Let me show y'all this other video. They're at this rodeo acting a fool. Hamburglar. Okay, here it goes.
Should require teams, spring break, Houston, and the rodeo and all of that. Some people think that the Houston rodeo should require kids 16 and younger to be accompanied by their parents too.
Yeah, but parent.
Next year, it wasn't. Put them in the comments. Yeah. Spring break, teams,
see a little bit of fighting.
Spring break, Houston, and the rodeo
And all of that.
Some people think.
How are you
So
going?
the kids was getting a squabble on at the Houston rodeo, and they just interview people. They don't really want to put it out there. I think because it's minors involved, but they just interview people after everything was closed up early.
Well, new information just into our newsroom. The Houston police confirmed there was not a shooting at the carnival at Rodeo Houston. Despite reports we received yesterday, it was forced to close early yesterday after a group of people started running in the carnival area, causing more people to run. People said they had heard reports of a shooting or a stabbing.
But there was a fight. I know there was a fight. People running at rodeo, carnival. Dang. But I know for a fact there was a fight. But I don't, they probably aren't putting, there's probably not going to be a lot of the video. Because you know what? I'll check X real quick. Let's see. X usually has oh, here it goes. Whoa, Jesus. Can I put this type of violence on YouTube? Jesus. They out there getting it in, dog. There ain't no sound. So y'all just got to look at, dang, he cooking this dude. So this is what was going on at the rodeo, y'all. They was out there, they was getting a squabble on. Dang, here go the females. They going at, dang. Squabble up. Yeah. Crazy. Look at this. You went there to have fun, and I was a kid too at one point. But I mean, damn, bro. This is not what you came there for. And then the young men, they should be there breaking that stuff up. They over there egging it on, recording it. Like, come on, man. You guys just saw it. We don't need the sound. We don't need the sound. But yeah, it's ridiculous. It's acting in an animalistic way, man. Just ruining everything for everybody. It didn't get this bad until after the summer of love. Facts, bro. Facts. I think the situation with George Floyd just taught people that they could just act wild as fuck and wasn't nobody gonna do nothing. Where's the police? At that point, when all those people are fighting like that and there's a melee, the police just stand back. Oh, well, let them kill each other. That's ridiculous. The police are supposed to be breaking that shit up, pulling out pepper spray. Somebody said CPS. Shout out to the bro. Kenley7527. This is Buddy Yeti on my work phone. Check the Discord. What's going on in the Discord? Yeah, but that's some animalistic stuff, man. I really hate to see that. Because I know there are people who are there. What's in the Discord? Tell me what's in the Discord, because my Discord is on my other phone, and I don't know where the hell it is right now. Tell me what's going on in the Discord. Damn. Hey, do me a favor. Put Buddy Yeti, put the Discord link in the comments. I'm going to click it. Do me a favor. Put the Discord link in the comments. And I'll just pull it up right here. I don't know where the hell my phone is. Did you talk about the woman who got smashed in the car in front of the club? Like killed? No, I didn't talk about that. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. If you got the link to the Discord, I just posted a link to a video that was directly related to what you talked about earlier. Yeah, about the fight. Because we found the video on X. That's crazy, though. I'll probably do another video concerning that. I'm going to be up tonight doing some editing. So, it is what it is. I'm going to be up. Thank you so much for the super chat, though, bro. I appreciate that. But, guys, we're going to get out of here. It's getting late over here, and I got to go feed the fam bam. They hungry. They giving me dirty looks at this point. I'm going to talk to y'all later. We're going to be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock Pacific time. We'll be back at 12 o'clock Pacific time for another exhilarating show. And we're going to keep these shows to about an hour and 20 minutes, maybe an hour 20, hour 30. We're not going to be going long because the audience, they don't really like the super long live streams. And when they're short, it makes it easier for me to clip them up and content farm them. Thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate everything you do for me in this channel. Till the next time, take care of yourselves. But most importantly, please take care of each other. Till the next time, peace.